Everything is red.
Can confirm.
And timer has started, so here we go. In 3, 2. Hello and welcome to Was It Good? Today we are reviewing a very special show on Amazon Prime called Invincible. It was brought to our attention by our intrepid producer, Mr. Michael, and we'll be tackling the first 6 episodes. And of course, no episode of Was It Good is complete without some kind of Disney product entering the conversation, so we'll be talking Shang-Chi. My name is Ravi, and I am here with my bros, Krishna and Arjuna. Let's start the show. How are we doing, Krishna and only Krishna?
Oh, wow. Oh, God, I feel so... I feel a little loopy right now. Thank you for asking. I did get the first COVID shot today. Yay! And I just want the world to know that.
That's why that intro sucked.
Yes.
I think the intro sucked because I didn't pre-read it.
Yeah.
And then the Shang-Chi...
I think it goes with how it was written and how it was performed.
Oh, it also has to do with how you look.
Nope.
Your
I
looks
wasn't involved in the intro at all.
scare me.
I wasn't even referenced. That probably brought it
no,
down.
Your name is Arjuna, is it not?
My name is actually Danand.
Well,
So there you go.
I don't think that's the case.
just get out.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway, we don't care about what Arjuna's real name is. We want to talk about Invincible.
Yes.
And I think before we kind of like really break it down, I just want to get
What is Invincible?
I want to get everyone's kind of just general reaction, because I know for me watching the first episode, I was like, cool, this is like the adult version of Young Justice.
Yeah.
You know, the Teen Titans kind
Totally
of
animation
adult,
style.
animation style. And then, you know, we get the end credits, and then we get violence and slushy sound effects.
Yes.
Just blood everywhere.
One of the greatest moments.
Ever.
Is that a great moment? Or
No. I just mean in terms of like a viewing, like like in terms of when I was viewing it.
Yep.
I watched it with my girlfriend Sahara,
He did it. Yeah. It's been a few weeks.
and when we were watching it, it was great. She was like, "Oh, this is like a nice show." She's like, "The Saturday morning cartoon is kind of back." I think we actually watched it like Saturday afternoon.
Nice. Did you have like your eggs and then you immediately vomited
You know,
it up?
it was light outside. It was just like, yeah, this is nice. Like, this is really a nice, wholesome show.
Oh my god.
And then
A nice wholesome show.
chaos, and then literally chaos ensued.
You
just
poor
in terms of
souls.
spoiler alert, by the way, for those who've not watched Invincible.
It's too late now.
Omni-Man, who is the main superhero of Earth, murders the Guardians of the Globe in as brutal of a way as you can possibly imagine.
Yes.
And it's funny because the show is based off a comic, which is by Robert Kirkman, known for the Walking Dead comics, and also the Walking Dead TV show, which most people know as being quite visual in a lot of ways, quite brutal.
Graphic.
Very it's a graphic novel, right? And this takes it to another step. This really does. Like, everything you see Omni-Man do, just in terms of how he murders those people, the Guardians, is
Murders those people. Murders
you
the
know,
greatest superheroes on
he
Earth.
basically
Those people?
he took a lot of like great. It's funny because obviously the comic was written before this, but like when he takes the speedster, whose name I forget, the Red Rush I believe is his name, and crushes his head, very Game of Thrones-esque in terms of just the mountain. I think, but maybe I don't know if that part of the book was written before this. Who knows? Books and comics and TV shows, it's all very confusing. And time, all very confusing.
It's not just the
We
visual.
don't need to be accurate with
It's
that
not
shit.
just the visual, but also the sound design as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
It's just
Best
top
part of
notch.
the show.
Top
Best part of
notch.
the show. The voice acting.
the
is
red
best.
herring of like all these great voice actors for like
It's
Guardians
so
of the
good.
Globe, and then they just all murder.
It's the greatest. It's the greatest voice casting. The voice cast ever. I think. I'd be hard pressed to find one that can even rival this. There's just big names from top to bottom.
Well, every single original member of the Guardians of the Globe is voiced by a Walking Dead veteran.
Yeah, and that's why that they're not even really. Let's be honest, they're not even the names that people are going to recognize the most.
Yeah,
You've got Mark Hamill, you've got J.K. Simmons, obviously Stephen Ewan does our protagonist, Ezra Miller, John Hamm, so many people. But you hit the nail on the head. Totally is, and from the end of episode 1 through where we're at now, episode 6, hasn't let you go. Every week is a nice development. We've got several mysteries that they've given us. with Omni-Man murdering the Guardians, the robot. What the hell is he up to?
Literally named Robot.
Yeah, his name's just Robot.
What is Cecil? What is he up to? Like his whole plan.
Yeah, why is he so wrinkly on one side of his face?
And all of these things you can tell are sort of weaving themselves together. So it's nice. The show has everything you want visually. The sound design is incredible. So technically, it's a great show. But I think narratively as well, the plot, it's so good. It's juicy.
I would agree with most of that.
Wow, you're gonna disagree with me, boy?
I will say though, like the last two episodes, episode 5 and 6, while they have been interesting,
Get out.
the thing that I found not frustrating, but just kind of like made you look at them and go like, oh, cool, they're filler episodes, which makes sense. This first season is only 8 episodes.
Sure.
We have 2 episodes left. They're trying to do more character development.
You really think those are filler episodes? Because I tell you right now, that's supposed to be we just watched is not filler. The fact that Cecil took the mad guy, the high school student who's a genius,
Right.
and that tech, which handled Invincible. You don't think he's going to use that?
No,
to
of course,
take on
no,
Omni-Man?
of course. But like when you compare like 4 and 5 or 5 and 6 to the first
I
3
see what you're
episodes,
saying.
they're not that level, and
Yeah.
you can't. Obviously, we live in an age where you can't expect every single episode is a perfect episode. Like no shit, it's not going to keep getting better because you will have a heart attack.
But by episode 6,
You are
on that
dead.
trajectory, you would hit like the multiverse.
Yes,
You'd have, like,
exactly, and it's one of those things where like you look at it and you're like, yes, it starts off like it's incredible. It's like, what is this? And it's very addicting. You're like, I need more and more and more. Once we get to like this midpoint, it's definitely kind of like, okay, stuff is happening, whatever. But it's not that same level. I would say my most favorite part of the last episode, episode 6, is Nolan Grayson or Omni-Man, voiced by J.K. Simmons, is his interaction with Mark Hamill's character, the Art, who designs the costumes, because that Art knows what Omni-Man has done.
Yes.
And
has literal evidence.
Right. Art knows what he's done. Omni-Man knows that Art knows. And we, the viewer, knows that everybody knows. And we also know that, like, he can easily kill Art just like that.
Yeah.
And you're watching the scene and you're like, okay, just do
get it
it.
over with.
Just do it. Just kill him.
I mean, Mark had a good run. He was in 2 episodes.
Mark Hamill had a good run.
Mark Hamill.
It's weird. He definitely sounded at some points, like when he's drinking on the roof with Omni-Man, there are definitely moments in that conversation where his voice gets a little higher. It's very like Joker-esque, and it's like
just a little bit.
He's nervous.
Well, it's
As soon as
Mark Hamill's voice has really changed. I mean, obviously he's been on screen for a long time since Star Wars, but his voice really has changed a lot from the 70s,
when you get older, your voice changes.
it definitely deepens. Like his
Everyone's.
But I guess who knows what his real voice is anymore? He does so much voice acting.
His interviews, I would assume, are.
But maybe he's putting on a voice.
You're right.
Who
He's
knows?
playing
You
Mark
don't
Hamill.
know. He's
don't
that
know who
good.
he
He's
is.
that good.
He's had some fucking iconic roles. Holy shit. Mark Hamill. Is Mark Hamill, real quick, this is a quick aside. Is Mark Hamill the greatest voice actor ever?
I would say
not.
he has.
I don't know enough in the voice acting community to make it.
I mean, there's actually another Kevin Michael Richardson who plays the Mahler twins in this. He's done like a ton of voices.
The Clone Twins?
Yeah. He is like, you could probably like poll like 100 people and ask them their favorite cartoon. It's probably a good chance he's done a voice in that because like his voice credits are ridiculous.
Insane.
He also has like a very distinct voice. Like
Yeah,
I think
clearly.
most people could hear his voice and like, oh yeah, that guy. Probably don't
Baritone.
know necessarily his exact name, but very distinct voice.
He's also in Punisher, right? Season 2.
Oh,
think so,
shit.
yeah. Like live action?
Yeah, the live action.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
plays
yeah.
like the general in there.
Oh, cool.
He's actually. I was bored yesterday. And I was scrolling through HBO Max. Didn't realize they Warner Brothers made an animated Mortal Kombat film called Scorpion's Revenge.
Oh, boy.
He's in
I'm
that.
sorry.
That one's another very violent, over the top, gore, blood infused.
Anything that's Mortal Kombat and isn't violent really
Yeah.
isn't violent.
They
is-
didn't do
they
it
did
right.
it wrong.
Yeah, no, this is, if you want like just something to throw on, like the story's kind of like okay, but the action is very like top notch. Voice acting is great in it, and it's interesting.
Nice.
It might be a nice little kind of like
Yeah.
tease into the new Mortal Kombat movie, which drops this week.
Yeah, we'll be having a
Oh,
pod on that
shit.
next Monday. Next Monday will be our pod
Oh, dear.
on the combat of mortals.
Yeah.
The combat,
The
of
great
Mortals.
combat tournament. The tournament. Oh, Piccolo.
So obviously 6 episodes in, we got 2 left. Where do you guys kind of rank characters right now? Let's start with who is the most annoying character.
Annoying?
And then we'll go with that. I like to start negative and then go positive.
Yeah. I'm trying to who's annoying in this show? Fuck.
Probably Rexplode. Like I'm
a Rex stan. I think Rex is hilarious. No, he's annoying, right?
There's only one reason he's hilarious.
I love the voice actor so much.
Jason.
He's so good.
Jason. I always mess up his name.
Yeah, I can't even.
Jason. Let me.
Matsukas?
Yeah, Jason Matsukas.
He's and also
is another great like has another distinct voice.
The show
is great, and that's what is the only redeeming quality about the character.
No,
is that they have Jason on there, not that the character himself is a dick.
That's what. Yes, he is. He is a dick.
But the reason, dicks, guys.
The reason that he's not annoying is because you need this kind of show. This kind of show, right? That has got this like visceral, brutal, bloody action. Needs this over the top, like really over the top. Idiot. He like really isn't. He's the funniest part of the show. Well, I think he's hilarious.
Well, I mean, we know Robot took his blood, so maybe he'll die, and his clone will be whatever they're growing. I mean, I assume maybe in the test tube,
God knows what
that they're growing is his clone or whatever. So maybe we'll have a tragic ending.
Yeah.
Before we jump into that, because I kind of want to talk about Robot and what is the plans there. I know I asked you guys, is there annoying? I don't find any characters annoying in this. There are shows.
Explode.
Even Rex, Rex,
his name is annoying.
His name is incredible,
but I think that character is needed because, as to this point, Robot, he's been told to lead the new Guardians of the Globe, put this team together. He's a robot. He's very ones and zeros and uses analytics. Yeah, or is he? Use analytics, figure out the best solution to solve the problem. He sees already, or you have said, that Rex is annoying, but he's also kind of a troublemaker and the thing that would break this new team.
A hothead
and all that fun. So it makes sense that Robot is going to clone and probably replace. I don't know if he's going to flat out kill Rex or if it just be a straight up replacement. But what else?
Shock me with this show.
I mean, no, not at all. Not at all. If that
I will say, the end of episode 5, where it looked like they killed 3 main characters at once when
you thought they did?
Well, yeah, when Invincible just gets his fucking chest banged out.
I was
like,
his
what?
guts come out.
I was like, what the fuck?
They killed Black Samson.
Yeah, Black Samson dead. Monster Girl dead.
Yeah, I was like, wow, they did that.
I'm like, who's this lion guy?
Yeah, I was like in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's very possible that they killed that Invincible and they're gonna try and clone him. I was like,
that's what I thought was happening.
Maybe they did.
There was gonna be.
Maybe they did.
Also, that was a big moment of wow, Omni-Man is truly a dick. Because you saw him watching and he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna let my son die.
He's an alien. He's an alien with no feelings.
Do you think that he
I don't know about that. I don't know if he has no feelings.
He's just angry all the time.
Do you think he knew Invincible was going to survive? And it was more just I need to teach you a lesson? I thought that, but then if that was the case, I would have thought episode 6.
His name is Invincible.
I would have thought episode 6 would have been more about the father, Omni-Man basically being teaching that lesson as opposed to the 2 characters are separated the entire episode for the most part.
Well, I also assume, remember, you see from Mark's point of view, he sees Omni-Man maybe just for a brief second.
Probably thought it was passing out, though.
Yeah, but maybe it's part of passing out. So there might be some subconscious stuff going on there where he's pulling away from his dad too, because
Clearly.
he's and especially that disagreement in 5 with how to deal with that situation. You're already starting to see some tension between them. They don't have the greatest relationship as we've seen throughout.
The tension's been there from the beginning.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Obviously, when he punched, when he first gets his powers.
Yeah.
Invincible, that is, and then his dad just
decks him.
Not just decks him, his fist goes full nuclear on his face.
Boom.
It's oh shit. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. So it does seem like Omni-Man probably knew Invincible was going to survive. But that's the thing. How could he know that? Because he is half human. He's not full Vitruvian. I don't know if I'm.
Well, maybe
Vitramite.
But maybe in Omni-Man's mind, he's especially with the way what we've seen from him, he's if you don't survive, you deserve to die in that situation.
Yeah, that's true as
too.
well.
You know what I mean?
The big thing is
he definitely seems very much like survival of the fittest.
Right.
And obviously, that's going to play. We've got to touch on why we think he even took out the Guardians, and I'm sure
Well,
These are all
let's
things
get
that are related,
let's
right?
get into that. And
He had a
like,
bad day.
who is like Omni-Man? What we know is his history is what has been presented from him, right?
Yeah.
Like he is presenting that information. Another show does a really good job where
Oh, I
you
don't know which one
the
you're gonna say.
protagonist tells us
Protagonist.
or excuse me, the antagonist, right? Yeah, the bad guy, the antagonist tells a story, but obviously it's fake, and that would be obviously Attack on Titan. With Zeke told them a huge lie. I think it's the same with Omni-Man. It's a big lie, right? I think you pointed this out early on,
So he's like the
where
Joker.
he was in the time warp.
Oh yeah.
Aliens, the aliens that come, they can be here for X amount of time before time changes for them.
Yeah.
And he says to them, Earth is not yours to conquer,
Yeah.
which is a very interesting line. Most of the time, like a Superman would say, Earth is not to be conquered, or
Yeah, and the way there's a slight inflection on the word yours.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, so it seems like if you just jump to conclusions, which you should never do, but we just do it.
Reckless speculation.
Reckless speculation.
Play the sound, Mr. Producer.
I hope that was the right one. The reckless speculation is that he's preparing the planet for invasion, presumably by the people. The
Viltrumites.
Victorians.
Phil.
Viltrumites.
Mites.
so there's another so if we go back to another comic book series turned animation or whatever, Justice League, the first first season of the Justice League show has Hawkgirl coming to Earth, joining the Justice League in order to
betraying
get them. Yeah, and betrays them in order for her people, the Hawk people. They actually have a name. I don't remember what they're called. To go
Hawk
and
people.
basically blow up Earth so they can build a new space freeway to move their armies to do this whole war thing.
Cool.
Her way, though, of infiltrating wasn't to murder the Justice League. It was to gain their trust, learn their weaknesses, to give that information to her people for that invasion. While Omni-Man is clearly, he's on a flat-out murder. He went on a murder spree.
Because he can.
Because he can.
Yeah.
Well,
Whereas
can he, though? Like,
Well, he took out the Guardians, right?
Sure, but they had to heal him. Like, he was under
Oh, that's a good point.
medical treatment and all that fun stuff for what potentially days before he was back up on his feet.
That's actually a great point. So here's the thing then. His mission was he viewed the Guardians as the best defense that Earth has.
Right.
And his mission was to remove the biggest defense that they had. So it was presumably a one-way mission. Like he was going to take them out. That's the height of his mission. Now it's done. And, we'll see what else he's going to do. But the fact that he was willing to put himself in that situation, thought he could do it, almost died.
I wonder why he waited so long.
No regrets.
Like,
Yeah.
why did he wait 20 years?
Maybe, like he said, maybe to gather
Well,
information
no,
to make sure.
he didn't wait. This wasn't done randomly. Because remember, the show starts, the first episode, his son gets powers. And then immediately after his
yeah,
son
there you
starts
go.
showing powers and they start the training process, he
That's
goes and he murders this group of...
So maybe
That's
he's
people.
So then, if you use that conclusion, because he is so invested in training his son, he is grooming his son to help him conquer the planet.
Potentially. Yeah. Honestly, it has a very Saiyan feel from Dragon Ball Z, to be honest.
So they're gonna
the
power
Saiyans
up?
are yeah, exactly. But Saiyans are planet conquerors.
Right.
And they often send one Saiyan to deal with weak planets like Earth, and they're supposed to destroy the people, and then the rest of the Saiyans come and use the planet, right? It has a little bit of that feel to it. But yeah, we'll see. Honestly, it seems like that's the way it's going, but I wouldn't be shocked if there's some twists and turns along the way.
I guess the big question is, once you get into like episode 2 and episode 3, the question is Omni-Man actually bad, right? Do we think he's bad, or is this part of some other plan?
I think there's some grayness to him. Like, I think if he was all the way bad, I don't think he'd bother having a wife or like.
But maybe he had the wife in order to have offspring.
Yeah, but then if you're all the way cartoony bad, why
would just kill
maintain
her.
like a relationship or like
Well,
the
I mean,
guise of whatever? I
reckless
suppose.
speculation. My big theory in terms of how this is going to end is the his wife, Invincible's mother will be killed by him.
Well, I mean, she doesn't have long left if we're going over the first 6
I mean,
episodes.
she
of
is
where it's
definitely
left.
she's definitely pushing his buttons.
Yeah, but again,
As only a wife can.
But then again, right? He's Omni-Man. Why not just then kill her right now? Is it again because he's trying to groom his son and doesn't want to anger his son, or is there more to it? I guess
he's trying to figure. I mean, we saw what he did this episode. He realized that she knew something was up. He followed her. Yeah. He went to Art to go figure that out, either to end him or whatnot. Like he's figuring out where the loose ends are because he doesn't need Cecil to know what his secret is.
Here's the thing too,
which Cecil already expects. He suspects.
Yeah. So the fact that he is going to such lengths though to maintain his like identity as Omni-Man, Earth's mightiest protector, he could take out presumably Cecil and his whole operation. The fact that he's playing along or trying to hide it, right? Yeah. Means that his plan isn't as it probably is related to his son, but maybe there's more to it, right?
Well, I mean, I guess you have to think of it this way, right? He did take out the entire Guardians team, but he was badly injured, right? It wasn't like he came out unscathed and was like, all right, now I can go kill everyone or anything like that. He almost lost, kind of, if you really think about it.
If Cecil's people didn't intervene, he probably would have died. Right? So, because he was there just on the ground bleeding out.
Yeah, he had taken pretty heavy damage, and he was out for a while, a few days at least, right?
Right. That's what it seems like, yeah.
So that would probably, I guess, going down our thread of reckless speculation, that would indicate he needs some type of backup, probably to take on Earth's defenses. There are obviously numerous other heroes out there. If they all united against him, probably couldn't take on 100 heroes.
I don't think he was also part of his plan was probably not to be helped by the U.S. government, right? The fact that they were able to get his suit, they had it under lock and key. Like when he's leaving the hospital, he's obviously very kind of like, he's a big dick. He's like, give me my suit back.
My fucking suit.
He's like, it's mine.
Yeah.
It came to me.
So I think he's like figuring out where the loose ends are, right?
Yeah.
So I think...
Well, his wife's is a loose end.
His wife's a loose end. Cecil's a loose end. Art's a loose end.
If you think about the first episode, though, if you remember, there's a line early on in the episode where he's like, maybe he'll never get his powers. And when Mark's like, I have powers,
he's not happy.
He's not happy about it.
Yeah. There's a moment of like hesitation.
Yeah, and then his wife kicks him, and he's like, oh, yeah, that's
like
awesome. Hooray. So it does seem like he is obviously bad. He's done bad things in the show, but there is some hesitation there. I think maybe he's become too comfortable in this box that
this home life
he's potentially created because he's like, oh fuck, I gotta do whatever I gotta do.
It's time to go to work. The real work, that is.
It's the San Andreas meme where it's like, oh shit, here we go again.
Yeah, he was playing superhero, but his real job is conqueror.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he played that. Maybe he played it too long.
Played it too long, too well, and he liked it. And
he's not the only parent though that kind of has said or shown that they weren't happy when their kid got power. So Adam, was it Adam Eve?
Adam Eve.
Adam
Eve. Oh, I get the pun
Adam
now.
Eve, yeah. There you go. Wow. That took you a while. She leaves home, obviously, and her father says, right, the worst day of my life was when you got powers. Yeah. To Arjuna's point where Omni-Man potentially is upset that, Mark got these powers. Maybe it's because he's become too human and he's worried for his kid.
Yeah.
So maybe there is a glimmer of or a piece of good in him or something.
Yeah, well, part of his mission is to have offspring with the other species to keep the Viltrumites going or something like that. I don't know.
But then
it only took 7 times.
But then aren't they? I don't know. I don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, we got 2 episodes left, and I'm definitely sure it's going to end on a major, major cliffhanger where we're like, cool.
Does anyone know if this show's been renewed for more seasons?
I don't believe it's anything official right now.
It will be.
Disappointing.
Most likely, I would assume.
There's no way it won't be.
I feel like Prime renews a lot of their shows.
It's our job, our podcast, to get this show out there so the people watch it.
I don't think the show needs it. There's a lot of buzz around the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
So real quick, just a couple of things with Robot, and then I want to switch gears, directly to Invincible. So Robot, obviously, weird dude or thing or something.
Zachary Quinto
does a great job voice acting. Has Rex's blood. He's working with the Mauler twins. But he's also got this weird kind of fascination for Monster Girl. Fascination or appreciation.
I don't know. It could be full on romance.
You think so?
I mean, I get some creepy vibes. You know?
I looked at it more like he looked at her like a little girl, and she is hurt, and he's trying to protect her.
I look at it as there's this
Even though she's
idea,
like
the
24.
idea of this monster in these different forms and who you are on the outside and who you are on the inside. And I feel like maybe that's what he's connecting with Monster Girl, right? Because they do show the scene of him talking to himself in a test tube when he sees that like weird old deformed version of himself, potentially, I guess. And I think maybe that's part of it. They just think he's a robot, but maybe he's not a robot. Maybe he is something more.
Yeah.
Maybe he is.
There's definitely something going on.
Yeah, there's something. I think he's clearly more than just,
Yeah, something that was
zeros and
created
ones.
out of a lab.
And I think this maybe that's probably what he's connecting with Monster Girl, right? Because she is, she turns into this monster. She looks like a little girl. She's not a little girl. She's actually, I think, what'd she say, like
25
or
or
24 or something?
I think, yeah.
And she's actually losing her age.
She got the Benjamin Button disease.
As she does this monster. So she actually
Curse.
has like an endpoint, I would assume, right? Like if she keeps losing age, like eventually she'll hit 0 and then will be like a baby and
She needs
die, I
like
guess?
time.
I
She
don't
like
know.
needs time to age.
yeah, exactly.
But
yeah,
she doesn't.
I guess
She's
that's
not.
the way.
She's not going to get it on this team.
Exactly. She actually has to retire pretty soon if you think about it.
Yeah. Otherwise,
Or at least for a little bit, and then
yeah,
she can
exactly.
start the process again.
start accruing
Yeah, I
some
guess so.
years.
That's kind of an interesting
It is
superpower, right? Because in theory, you could live forever, I would assume. Because if you're getting younger,
We should point out as well that this world has various forms of powers, right? So we've got aliens.
Yep.
We've got demons. So
Some
hell,
magic.
hell,
Yep.
magic.
Mr. Krabs, voiced by Mr. Krabs.
Curse. We got curse stuff.
Yeah.
That's she's got a curse.
Robots?
And then we've some kind of technology, thing. I'm sure there's going to be
Cloning,
maybe
genetics?
learn more genetics. Yeah.
Yep.
And there's a whole bunch that they haven't really explained. yet.
Explode.
The Daft Punk mind person. You
Oh,
remember?
yeah.
Yeah, from episode 4.
Machine Head.
Machine Head. Thank you.
I do love how on the nose the names are, like Machine Head.
Oh, it's so good.
And even just like the quote unquote like rip-offs, like Batman's equivalent was Darkwing,
Yep.
like it's great. It's
So good.
actually fantastic.
Yeah, I like it. I like it because that's not what the show's about, right? So it doesn't matter.
It's really not about the
They're not
superhero.
wasting time. They're like, in fact, it's almost easier if you make those connections because then you can just move past having to explain the characters and their backstories and their powers. It's like, oh, I recognize that. He's kind of like Batman. I already know what he does.
Right.
Omni-Man, Superman. I get it. Yep. Similar idea. So it's almost using. People might be like, oh, they're just copying. They're copying it, but they're using it to their advantage, right? Because they don't have to waste time explaining the whole how it works. You waste a whole arc or series or season to doing that, right?
Yeah.
So they've done that really well, I would say.
so obviously the show's being called Invincible, follows, Mark Grayson, main character here.
Yeah.
He's obviously a teenager in high school. He's
Is he?
He's a senior going into college.
Yeah.
Episode 6 ends with him and his current girlfriend Amber.
Maybe
kind of
current,
maybe current, maybe
Oh, I'm
splits.
pretty sure she's ex now.
I'm pretty sure because she believes he's a coward and ran off when
What a coward.
that weird robot genetic thing was attacking.
The Flash's minions.
Do we think so? With the character of Amber, is he actually into Amber, or is it more he's just doing it to kind of be normal, right? Because he has made it pretty clear, especially at the start of this episode, he is trying to figure out and how he wants to be normal,
It
right?
was a balance.
Yeah, he wants some kind of balance. So is he just kind of in that relationship for the sake of being in that relationship?
Here's the thing. If you think back to when you're a teenager,
Can't.
you think real hard, right? Of course there's attraction. Your
Arjuna, why
pheromones
is
are
there
raging.
smoke coming out of
Your
Arjuna's head?
hormones are raging. Yeah, some of us never leave puberty. No, the hormones are raging, right? Of course, I'm sure he wants to be with her, but
But there's also probably part of him that wants to be with like Eve too, and they're kind of that she's the normal life and Eve is like the superhero life,
Right.
right? And so it's like
well,
the
it was
balance.
hinted at. But I honestly got the impression that he did like Eve, but the more time has gone on, I think he does. He
likes
into
Amber, too.
Yeah, he is into her, and he's trying to make it work. But there's that telling line though when Eve tells him the only way to make that work is you have to be upfront with her and reveal who you really are. And he hasn't done that. He's had multiple chances and opportunities, and he hasn't done it for whatever reason. Which I understand the question. Is he actually into her? Does he like her enough to do that?
Right.
Maybe he looks at it as protecting her. maybe he's not willing to admit that right now because
Yeah.
he's not sure he's totally invested,
Right.
even though being a superhero is what he's always wanted,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
Well, it's this balance, and we're gonna throw more onto that. Obviously, when he finds out about his dad, and
Does
that
he
balance.
does he find out about his dad this season, or are they going to wait
Ooh,
on
should
that?
we go around the table and give our predictions?
I think we
If
should do
there's
some
all-
predictions. I
if
mean,
they,
I already kind of
Jesus
gave my big one, which was the mother
Dies.
will die.
is gone. But I'm going to
Sandra
also
Oh is great.
I'm going to add on to that the merger is going to be done in such a way that it's going to end with Mark not knowing it was his father.
Yeah.
It's going to be done where
There'll be a clue.
it'll be something. Maybe
a clue.
Maybe he does it in such a way where it looks like it's Robot, or it's the Mauler twins, or it's Rex, or
The demon guy.
Heck, maybe he does
Or
it in such a
Cecil.
maybe he does it in such a way where it's Adam Eve. Or I like the Cecil one though. That
Well, you just
would
think
make
about the
sense.
characters that Omni-Man is like really interacted with. He hasn't really interacted with the new Guardians at all.
right.
He's obviously interacted a lot with like Cecil and the government, and he probably isn't thrilled that they're chummy with Invincible. So how do you sour that relationship? Frame him.
Oh, that's interesting.
And
I
then
like it.
he
And
goes
like, hey,
against
don't
the
trust,
government.
don't trust Cecil. Don't trust anybody. Trust me. I'm your father.
Trust me.
Join me.
Do you think it'll be done like a Vader type scene where he's going to be like Invincible will be on the edge of a cliff or something? He's holding it. Omni-Man's holding his hand out, and he's like, "No, I killed your mother."
Well, look, right? We've seen Mark has some of the tendencies of his dad, right? One of my
Yeah.
favorite episodes, episode 5, at the end of that whole battle sequence, we see him lose his shit, just like his dad. Like he goes into that rage,
Yep.
Yeah.
same rage we saw in episode 1.
Anchor mode.
And if something like that, where his mom died and his dad was able to convince him, like, it was Cecil, it was the government, like,
Ooh.
you could see him fly into that rage and really start to trust his dad. And maybe it's like that's how his dad kind of sees, like, this is how we
Oh, that
can
bonding
make it
moment.
work together. Yeah.
A bonding moment after he kills his mom. But anyway, that's my bold prediction.
What if they did like the season the full way? Like he does that, and then like let's say Omni-Man kills the mom. And then it's like it's the government, it's them, and then the new Guardians get in his way, and then Mark murders the new Guardians like his dad did at the end of 1, the end of the season.
Oh, geez.
Like, how could you imagine? That would be like great,
And then
balance.
Adam Eve comes in and it's like, "What have you done?" And it sets them up as rivals forever.
There you go. So then they can never be together.
Yeah.
Or it'll be this thing where they're super attracted to each other, but they hate each other as well.
It's like Batman and the Joker, right?
Yeah, exactly, just like that.
I mean, it kind of makes sense to me because Eve's story right now has been she's
finding
there.
herself.
She's there doing whatever, and she kind of helps, introduce Invincible to kind of like the superhero teams and all that fun stuff. But for the most part, like she's out doing her own thing, trying to figure her own stuff out and how to be a superhero. So it would be interesting if this is a way to kind of bring her back into the fold, is if there is a problem such as Invincible murdering all the Guardians.
Yeah, exactly. You would think there's no way she's going to stay out in nature, just stopping mudslides and growing trees, right? So there's got to be something that brings her back.
She like when they're doing her montage.
Weird story though. She's just in the forest.
When they're showing her montage and she like grew that whole farm, I'm like, she could just end world hunger immediately. Yeah, I mean,
Well, I think the problem there was like I think there is potentially limit to her power.
Yeah.
Right. Like I would imagine if you're growing
she
a
gets
whole
hungry.
thing of a forest of food, I'm sure it takes a lot out of her. Maybe it ages her more. Who knows?
yeah.
Christian, but do you have a bold prediction on how this is going to
for
end?
the season?
Yeah.
For how it's going to end. I mean, I like yours a lot. Honestly, I think that one makes a lot of sense. But just to be different, I will say that Amber dies, and that is going to send Mark off the deep end, and it's going to set him up, I think, in season 2. So he's going to have a ton of guilt because he was never straight with Amber, like never came clean about who he is. And he's going to start displaying more of his father's tendencies. And I think in their training, I think his dad's going to lose control of Mark. Mark's going to fly off the handle too much and start causing his own mayhem. And that's going to create even more of a headache for Cecil and company. And that's when they're going to have to use the robots on both of them. His little mind robots created by Zachary Quinto.
good old Zachariah.
Yeah.
Jen, do you have one?
Man, I gave that great, dichotomy of Mark killing the new Guardians.
You don't want,
But that was based off of yours.
so just do that one. Just do that one.
Bold prediction is Mark will find out about Omni-Man, fight him, and kill him at the end of the season.
Oh, you think Omni-Man's gone at the end?
Season 1 will end with Omni-Man's death.
Whoa.
And then Mark will be viewed as a villain because the world doesn't know about Omni-Man being the murderer yet.
And so every superhero's after him.
Ooh. And then do you think they'll do like
on the run.
Well, hold on. Do you think they'll do like a Superman's death storyline where he looks like he's dead, but then he's able to come back? So then, like in season 2, Omni-Man somehow comes back because we don't fully understand how
His powers work.
Yeah.
All, yeah.
So it's very possible. So that would be interesting.
It would be. It would be.
I'm writing these down for when we do our finale.
For like people that are invincible and like have super strength, I mean, they bleed and break a lot, which is interesting. Like they're not like Superman, right? They're not made of steel. They can get shot at. They can get cuts. They can get punched.
Yeah. That's a good point. They can withstand a lot of punishment, but they're not immune to punishment.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Cool.
So overall, though, let's say, as we always do on this podcast, we have to ask the question of, was it good?
Yes.
So I'm guessing we'll say, was the first 6 episodes of Invincible good, Krishna?
Yeah, of course it was. Why'd you even have to ask that?
Because
Why'd you even waste your breath?
That's what this show is called. It's called Was It Good?
All right, Juno, well, I'm going to waste my breath. Juno, was Invincible the first 6 episodes good?
No, it was not good. It was great.
Oh,
Okay?
shit.
It was
Wow.
fantastic.
Well, I
It
didn't
makes
ask
me
for
wanting
that.
more. All right? I'm now, on Thursday, more excited for Invincible than Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Boom.
I second that
Yeah.
statement.
There it is.
That's completely
just the way it
correct.
is.
I mean, the finale, I guess, is this week for Falcon and Winter Soldier. But honestly, I'm more excited for episode 7 of Invincible
Boom.
than I am for Falcon and Winter Soldier. Just the way it is.
Just the way it is, yeah. Some things will never change.
And would you recommend anybody to watch this?
Oh, definitely. I would definitely say watch this show. Even though there's 2 weeks left, start watching the show and then watch it week to week.
It's
this is
incredibly
a great,
bingeable.
Yeah, it's a
Incredibly.
great show to binge, but it's also been a really good show week to week. It's not one of those shows where it's
That's true.
You're frustrated after X amount of time. Like
That's true.
It's set up in such a way where you're okay with waiting that week, right?
Because every episode is its own complete story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like every episode is telling a story instead of the whole season is one story, right? And that's why.
And then
They've done a good
mid-credit
job with
scenes,
that.
they're scene, the scenes that play early on in the credits are all fantastic, by the way. Like for each and every episode, like they're just a lot of them are game changers. A lot of them have a lot of connective tissue as to what's going on and really connecting the story together. Marvel, maybe you want to take a page out of their book.
Speaking of Marvel, they did drop today the Shang-Chi teaser trailer for the new Marvel Cinematic Universe film coming out. I believe it's going to drop in September of this year.
Yes, September or November.
I think it's September.
I think September. I think Eternals
It's
is November.
Yeah.
So Shang-Chi follows the story of Shang-Chi.
I mean, his
Nailed
name
it.
his name is Shang-Chi.
So
he has no superhero name. He doesn't wear a mask. He is a martial art expert.
Kung Fu Master.
Yes.
Wow.
And I'll say it right off the bat, this trailer did not feel like a Marvel property. This trailer felt like something completely separate from MCU.
Felt like a martial arts movie.
It felt like a martial arts
is, I
movie.
assume, what the
It had a very interesting kind of premise. You know, there's a father talking about his son Shang-Chi. There's definitely some tension there. There's some fun things happening in this trailer. But overall, it's something very different. And I'm very excited for it. Like I think my level of excitement for this in comparison would be when we got the first trailer for Black Panther. Again, it was something completely different, very unique, very special. Also like Guardians of the Galaxy, another one where it's like it stands out from the kind of, not mundane, but the types of trailers and things that you are to you expect, right? Like Black Widow trailers are very kind of on the point. You could probably pull any single frame out there and be like, that's a Marvel movie. While with this, there's definitely, you look at it and you're like, oh, this is something different, which is cool.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
Yeah.
So yours is excited or
oh yeah, so
your one word
to kind of wrap that up, that whole spiel up, my one word impression for the whole thing is going to be Excited.
Hey, you're welcome.
Thank you. Christian, do you have a one-word impression?
I do.
For the Shang-Chi trailer.
And I believe my one-word impression is the same one-word impression that I used for
Oh my God.
for those movies a while ago. It's
not
Aquafina.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be Amazeballs.
Amazing. No,
I thought it was
like
going to
episode
be
one.
Legeth.
Incredibles. Legethro? That wouldn't even make sense. No, it's Aquafina because once again, she's in another Disney movie. This will be like her third one in a year.
Make that bank.
And third one in a year, I think. It's
What's the other?
crazy.
Well, the other one.
Raya?
Raya
And there was another one, but I'm blanking right now.
Another Disney? I don't know if it was a Disney
Mulan?
movie.
No, it wasn't Mulan.
She was not in Mulan. No.
Yeah.
I think it was just Raya.
Was it just Raya?
I think.
I thought she was in something else, and I will look it up after this. But it's Aquafina because it looks like she's going to play the fun-loving sidekick, and she has such a distinct voice as well.
She does.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how she comes into this, and it looks like a martial arts epic. You know, so I'd like to see what happens there.
Cool. Aquafina.
Yeah.
June, do you have a one-word impression?
Yeah. Hype.
Oh, the hype is real with this one.
Are you hype?
I'm hyped for this movie.
You're hype.
After seeing this, and you know it's nice because we haven't heard a ton about this movie. Obviously, we've had some castings and people have talked about it, but it's obviously our first physical look at the movie. We got we got the poster the very first thing in the morning. Then shortly after that, we got this trailer. So it's nice to actually build some hype around this.
Hype.
And just, like Ravi said, it's kind of something different into Marvel and in the MCU. And there's, you don't have the initial oh, this is how this connects, right? Like if you think back to Captain Marvel, like the Captain Marvel movie, for example, right? And you're like,
The movie with Blockbuster?
yeah, exactly. But if you think back to it, right, and everyone's theorizing how does this going to exactly connect to Endgame and this character and how she's created and being part of this whole Infinity Saga. You don't have that for this character.
That's true. There's no expectations.
There's no expectations. You don't even know how he's going to connect to this great. Is he going to be part of the Avengers, or is he going to do this, or he's going to do that? Well, no one fucking knows. And it's actually kind of
no one fucking.
It's actually kind of nice. It's kind of nice to have that, right? It kind of takes you back to
Is it based off a comic?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
so there's a comic book. Yeah. So if someone wanted to,
for sure.
They could they could go do their research.
But he's not obviously, he's not been done before, which is nice.
Yeah.
He's not been done in previous TV shows or previous movies extensively like some other characters we've got. Spider-Man,
Who?
You never heard of that one?
No, Spider what?
Spider-Man.
Oh, Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's just a little
He's
just a friendly neighborhood global phenomenon.
Yeah, friendly. Yeah.
Fun thing, Shang-Chi actually does a ton of crossover in Spider-Man. Like a ton. There's a lot of stuff with Spider-Verse, with Madam Web.
In the comics?
And there's a whole comic arc where there's an infection or some shit in Manhattan, and Shang-Chi actually gets spider powers, which is kind of crazy.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that makes sense. If you think, Spider-Man, as popular as he is, it's just a brawler. If an enhanced brawler,
How
essentially.
dare you?
But in terms of his
Great
fighting
power,
style,
great responsibility.
He's not like Thor. He doesn't have fucking magic from
No,
his
he's got
hammer,
webs.
and he's not like Iron Man who shoots stuff from his hands.
He shoots webs. He shoots webs literally from his hands.
But it's it's just to kind of it's still kind of fighting. So I can see the two styles kind of going.
Yeah, what's interesting, so with the introduction of Shang-Chi, Kung Fu Master, there's a lot there with his character around finding one's inner self, the fighting spirit, that type of stuff. And there is stuff with Madam Web and Spider-Man where Spider-Man loses his spider senses and powers, and he has to actually go and he's trained by Shang-Chi for a little bit. So
cool.
It's kind of cool that this character is there because it opens it up where you could get Shang-Chi and Spider-Man hanging out and doing cool shit together. So I think,
and he is
great.
From the trailer. There at least parts of this movie that are in America.
Yeah, definitely San Francisco, I think.
Yeah.
That end sequence seems like it's
with
the
the
rolling
bus?
hills,
Yeah.
in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm excited.
Well, we need more California MCU heroes.
Yeah, that's true.
They're all in New York.
They're all East Coast.
So there is rumors, or is it confirmed the Mandarin is returning in Shang-Chi?
It's 100% confirmed. It's in the trailer, and the Mandarin is actually going to be for the first time Shang-Chi's dad.
So he's not. They're not going the traditional route where he's
just
Emperor
the villain.
Yeah.
That there's going to be more of a familial relationship.
Mandarin is originally was Ben Kingsley, correct?
Yeah, so in the
we gotta explain
in
this.
the ill-fated movie Iron Man 3,
Great
movie.
there is Ben Kingsley who was supposed to be the Mandarin. It turned out he was an actor within the movie, an actor playing an actor. Tony Slattery, I think, was the name they went with for Ben Kingsley's actor character playing the Mandarin, and it was this ruse. I can't even remember the fucking movie anymore.
Oh, you don't remember Iron Man 3's plot?
What was the point? I don't even remember what the point of having him as that issue.
It was probably to buy drugs.
I mean, I remember Guy Pearce was ultimately his villain. Alden was the ultimate villain during the Extremis thing where like it grew back limbs and you could shoot fireballs from your body.
Fireball.
Wow, I don't remember this movie at all.
Iron Man 3?
It's a bad movie.
Yeah.
It's not a good movie.
It's not a movie I would put on.
Exactly. But anyway, that was the thing. It was the fake Mandarin, and then there was.
So is that fake Mandarin? Do we know it's going to be based on this real Mandarin?
No,
who's
so
the father
if
of
there's
Shang-Chi?
So Marvel in like phase 1, phase 2, they did these things called like Marvel one shots, where they're these like short, like 10-minute films essentially. That would have some like MCU characters and have some story in it, right? So one of them that they created was actually with Ben Kingsley's character, and he's in jail, and I think there's somebody that comes up to him and is like, the real Mandarin and the Ten Rings organization is not happy that you like ripped us off, essentially.
Cool.
Because I believe the Alden character in Iron Man 3 is like, the Ten Rings and the Mandarin is like mythical and everything, and we decided to use that in our ruse or whatever.
That's
so.
a copyright issue. You can't take another evil organization's like Kingpin, like the main name and their organization. That's fucked up.
And then also, have it been a terrible movie like that.
Yeah.
Because the Mandarin is one of Iron Man's like main comic book villains.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Oh. So
Because
Shang-Chi trained Spider-Man, his father Mandarin, as
Well,
Iron Man's
remember,
enemy.
this is the first time the Mandarin's going to be related to Shang-Chi as a
right?
father-son.
Gotcha.
Usually it's a separate personal.
separate.
Yeah, completely separate.
interesting.
It's a little bit more problematic in the comics because they lean into a lot of stereotypes.
Yeah. Do you remember the 1990s Iron Man?
Yeah.
So the Mandarin's in there, and it's not a good. Like, let's just say if it aired in today's world,
It would get shut down.
that would be shut down. Pretty
That's probably why it doesn't air anymore.
quick. Yeah.
Probably.
2 days later, Disney Plus announces the old Iron Man show. Some idiot at Disney.
Unedited.
Some idiot at Disney thought this was a good idea.
They just hit the release button. We didn't QC it. We didn't QC.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
I could actually, which is terrible. It's
Wait, you
kind of
can
depressing.
imagine that?
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
easily.
Last thing, real quick. People are saying that they believe they saw Captain America's shield. Do we believe this is the actual shield, or are people just so?
I didn't see the shield.
so Falcon and Winter Soldier,
I
like
think it's the latter.
hyper vision or
They're like,
focus.
I saw a star on a circle. It's the Captain America shield. It's the only thing it can be.
Either way, I mean, if it is there, cool. If not, whatever.
Yeah. It's too early to be going that deep into it.
I feel like the folks that are saying they saw it,
Please rest.
they're making the YouTube videos, the clickbait YouTube videos. That's what they're doing.
Of course.
We would never do that.
No, we don't do that.
So real quick, after this, we're gonna make that. You're gonna make that YouTube video.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What, the one of us saying we don't care? About the Captain America show? Actually, that's hilarious.
We'll do a
The
whole breakdown. We'll do a whole
clickbait
breakdown.
Clickbait title. Like, what does the Captain America shielding Shang-Chi trailer mean? And it's just us. It's too early for this.
You know, I'm gonna
Why?
clip this whole section and put it on YouTube, and that's what the title's gonna be.
Done. I like that. That's perfect.
We got it. So, and everyone watching on YouTube, I'm sorry.
So I'm not going to ask the question of was it good. I think more just the general question of are we excited for this? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
remember at one point in our lives we were all very kind of like, oh, I'm so MCU'd out. I don't think that's there anymore. Like the Black Widow trailer, I'm kind of on, but this, I would definitely go to and pay money and see in a theater.
I think Marvel made a good call, And it worked out for them with COVID to kind of introduce some new properties like Shang-Chi, like the Eternals, because
It was a nice reset.
yeah, you kind of need that after you.
It was like
you,
Thanos
you-
snapping.
yeah, you kind of did this whole 22, 23 movie thing up to Endgame. You know, if you just continue the same threads from there, it's kind of like
What was the
how many
point?
epilogues from that can we have in the first year? Couple of years. Let's get some. Let's have some new stuff. I'm excited for new things.
Yeah. I agree. Real quick, actually, before just a left field question: are there any
Why not right field?
rifle sucks? Are there any more obscure Marvel characters that you personally would like to see on the big screen or
Yes.
on the silver screen?
There is an Indian superhero.
There is.
Yes.
Ooh,
I forget his name, but it is part of the Marvel comics.
Indian Man.
Curry
No.
Man.
No, I know,
That
but I
seems
would
about
like to
right.
see that. That'd be kind of cool.
All right, cool. Like, is it Indian? Is it like an Indian captain, like a captain?
No, it's there is like Spider-Man India, I guess that's a thing.
Damn.
Interesting.
Do you have any?
I think one of the most misunderstood villains in all of Marvel is the Rhino, right? And I just want an entire movie about the Rhino
I hate you.
and why he wears this Rhino suit and just like everything about Rhino.
I want
you know?
Paul Giamatti. Is it Paul Giamatti?
Oh,
he was
Paul
in the
Giamatti is
Amazing
in
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man too.
I want that Rhino. If
No,
we're gonna do
I
that.
want my '90s Rhino, which was just a guy in a Rhino costume. I want that guy.
I thought the video game Rhino was pretty cool.
Which version?
The Miles Morales. I think it's
haven't
the
played it
same.
yet.
I haven't
the
played
same
it.
Rhino.
Be quiet.
Don't spoil it.
No
for us.
spoilers.
Oh, well, he was cool. I
Quiet.
liked him.
Quiet. Right.
Nice.
Oh, there's Dinesh Dioe, engineer, but he had inhuman heritage. He developed the ability of physionically controlling the electromagnetic spectrum after being affected by the Terrigean mist cloud from the Terrigean bomb. What did I just say?
I don't know what you just said.
I don't know.
There's
like a lot of words.
Raz Malhotra.
You're just reading all the Indian superheroes?
Yeah, I googled it.
Oh, my God.
I wanna
There's
see,
like 5. There's a bunch
I
actually.
want to see an Inuit superhero.
Inuit.
Yes, an Inuit. Eskimo.
I would like to see in Marvel specifically a movie about Spider-Man. I feel like you just haven't had that.
Yeah, more Spider-Man. Get me
You know?
pictures of Spider-Man.
Yeah. We need more of that. Just hasn't appeared enough. Oh, maybe more Batman movies too. Like I feel like there's not enough
God.
versions at the same time.
And with that, I'm going to close it out. Thank you for tuning in, listening, and following along. As always, you can find us on social, on Twitter at Was It Good, on Instagram at Was It Good BTM. We do the live streams for our podcast every Monday and Friday right here on our YouTube channel. We do have a website, wasitgood.info. Newsletter is coming shortly. Our next podcast is going to be this Friday, and it is going to be on the season finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and that little guy named Zemo.
You said doo-doo.
We do.
And with that, goodbye.
Goodbye.